Now, embarrassingly enough, I had a scooter accident this. I'm not an adult that rides a scooter. I was riding my daughter's scooter, and I always tell her to watch out for the bumps, and they go over the bumps, but I can't go over the bumps. So I had a scooter accident and kind of in slow-mo decided to stop myself with my hands. And it really hurt. Anyway, so I won't necessarily be doing down dog. So the options for everybody, as always, would be, if you don't want to do down dog, you take all fours or even child's pose. Another option tonight would be to do dolphin when you come down onto your forearms, which is quite nice. I don't really put it in my class very much, so maybe we should do a bit more of that, but we'll see how it goes this evening. So you know what you're doing anyway. If you look at me and think, what's she doing? It's just because my hands are hurting. So we'll start in a comfortable seat. Closing the eyes. Have a good wriggle around and feel that connection between your seat and the floor or your prop. And let it feel comfortable and balanced. So not kind of leaning to one side or to the other, forwards or backwards, but the spine stacks up. And the shoulders over the hips. Just be aware of that for a moment. I have a tendency to kind of lean forward a little bit. So notice how you sit and try and straighten that all up. And then the head and the neck sit on top of the spine and kind of pull the ears back so the ears are on top of the shoulders. Feel the stillness, feel into the physical body. Notice how you're doing this evening. Being aware of the physical sensations, your mood, your energy. And with the natural breath, just allow the next 3 exhales to let things release and soften. Gently, with the attention on the breath, start to cultivate your smooth, easy, even breath that you can work with through the class this evening. And if it works for you, you can always do that mental count of 3 or 4 seconds on the inhale and 3 or 4 seconds on your exhale. And start also to recognize the little pause at the top and the bottom of the breath. And keep this breath as the focus through the practice and use it as your guide any time that you feel out of breath or you need to take a break. feel free to do so. And bring the hands into prayer in front of the heart. We'll take one moment to consider 3 things that you're grateful for in your life, the first 3 things that come to mind. It's very easy to overlook a lot of things and take things for granted. But particularly at the moment when things are not as we feel they should be, it's really helpful to think about the things that you do have rather than what you don't have. We'll take an inhale together. And send out your gratitude with your next exhale. Release the hands down and gently come down onto your backs with the knees bent and the feet flat. Extend the right leg up to the ceiling and interlace your fingers around the back of the right thigh. And just gently circle out the ankle, changing direction. Come to stillness and then point and flex the foot. And then kick out through the heel, work that leg towards straight until you feel the stretch down the back of the right leg. And gently draw it in towards you, any amount, until you feel the hamstring stretch and maybe an extra kick of the heel up to get the calf stretch. Keep breathing. Release the hands and take figure 4, the right ankle over the left thigh. Let the knee open up, square off the pelvis, and then the option to thread the needle, bringing your interlaced fingers around the back of the left thigh. Lengthen the spine, soften the shoulders, and breathe here. You should feel this in the right hip. Release the hands, bring the left foot down, plant the right foot down, both knees are bent. Feel that right leg and right hip for a minute. And then we'll switch sides, extending the left heel up towards the ceiling, interlacing the fingers around the thigh. And then gently drawing those circles or circling the ankle in one direction. 3 or 4 turns in one direction, and then switching direction. And come to center, and then point and flex the foot. And just getting some of those clicks and pops out of the ankles and toes. And then kick out through the heel so the foot is really flexed. So to draw the leg in towards you any amount. And try to straighten the leg, but you can keep the knee bent. And then breathe into the back of the left leg. Release the hands, we'll take figure 4, crossing the ankle over the thigh. Opening the left knee up, and then optional thread the needle, interlace around the back of the right thigh. Draw the leg in towards you. Use your left elbow to nudge the left thigh out. Let everything else soften. 2 more breaths here. And then release the hands. Bring both feet down onto the mat. Pause for a moment. Notice what you feel. And we'll come into happy baby. We'll bring the knees towards the armpits. You can either cling on behind the knees, the shins, or the outside edges of the feet. And then draw, like pull down with your hands, whatever you're holding on to, so the knees come more towards your armpits. And the feet, like little serving platters, up to the ceiling. Push your tailbone down. Try not to let the bum round up. Push the sacrum down. Find the bit of a natural curve in the lower back. And then gently, alternately straighten and bend the legs. Getting that stretch down the back of the hamstrings, but slightly different. Bring both feet to center. Release the hands and bring your hands onto your knees or the shins. And really squeeze the legs in. Get a bit of compression going through the hips and through the quads. A couple of breaths here. Any movements that feel nice. If you want to circle the knees around, go ahead. Come to stillness. Bring your hands behind the knees, and we're going to take these rocks and rolls along the length of the spine, 3 or 4 rocks and rolls to come up to sit. If that's not good for you, don't do it. And then finding Navasana, boat pose. So option 1, find your sit bones. Option 1, hands on the shins and the big toes are touching down, but we're sitting up nice and tall. Option 2, the shins extend and push out through the balls of the feet. Again, sit tall, maybe the arms extend. If you want to go for it, maybe everything extends, but we're holding it for 5 breaths. Which each breath lasts approximately 8 to 10 seconds. We're holding this for almost a minute. Soften the shoulders. Good. Lift up, lengthen the spine. Have that awareness in the core. 1 more breath here, good. And then release into a cross-legged seat with the right shin in front. Inhale to sit tall. Exhale, folding forward. Walk the hands forward and come down as far as you're able. Let the chin hang towards the chest. We're getting that release again through the hips and also into the lower back. 2 more breaths here. Slowly rise up. Second round of Navasana, your choice. Option 1, 2, or 3 for 5 breaths. Everything is working. A little bit of shaking is good. That's what I tell myself. Lift the chest. 2 more breaths here. Keep breathing. And then the release is that cross-legged seat with the left shin in front. Inhale, you lengthen. Exhale, keep the length as you fold forward. And let the head go, chin to chest for a neck release. And come back to the breath. One more breath. Slowly come back up. Last round of Navasana, 5 breaths. Pushing out through the toe mounds, engage through the core, shoulders are soft. 2 more breaths here. About 20 seconds or so. and then release. Roll forwards, and we're going to come into a standing forward fold at the top of the mat. But take the feet quite wide, so wider than hip width. And take hands to opposite elbows, let the head hang heavy. Feel your feet, the footprints of both of the feet, and the toes are nice and long. And take a gentle sway from side to side. Keep a nice deep bend in the knees. That will let the back lengthen and release the hamstrings. And then rocking backwards and forwards, really taking the weight from your heels to your toes. And give the head a shake, yes and no. Release the arms and we'll take chest expansion, interlacing the fingers behind the back, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Feel that openness through the front of the chest. Then lift the knuckles up to the ceiling. Maybe your hands come overhead. Any time that the shoulders are tight in a pose like this, you could always use a belt, and that just helps to give the shoulders a little bit more space. Couple more breaths here. And then release the hands down. If the back is fine, we're going to roll slowly, slowly up to stand, stacking the vertebra up. If there's any issues with the back, hands on the hips and lift up with a straight spine. On an inhale, reach the hands high. Exhale, hands in prayer in front of the heart. Come back to those 3 gratitudes. Release the hands down. On an inhale, reach up. Bring your right hand to your left wrist. Inhale, you lengthen, and then hinge to your right. So you're using your right hand to pull the left wrist. Keep the front of the neck open. Push your hips over to the left. Take 2 more breaths here. On an inhale, come back to center, reach the fingertips high. And we'll switch sides, left hand, right wrist. Inhale, you lengthen, push into your feet. Exhale, hinging to your left. Soften the shoulders, lift the chin. 2 more breaths, and there shouldn't be any discomfort in the back. Keep a little engagement through the lower belly. On your next inhale, reach up. And exhale to swan dive forward with a nice long spine. Halfway lift. Inhale. Exhale brings the hands down and we step the right foot back for a low lunge. The back knee comes down. I'm going straight into the twist here. Inhale to reach the left hand high. Right hand down, left hand high. And then if you want to take this further, you bend your right knee and grab the foot. Sink the hips down. Lift the heart. Open the chest, lean back. 2 more breaths here. On your next exhale, release the left hand down. Tuck the back toes, pick up the back knee. And step forward. Big toes to touch. Halfway lift. Inhale. Exhale, you fold. Step the left foot back, low lunge. Left knee down. Straight into the twist. Left hand down, right hand twist open. And then that option to bend the right knee. You can get that quad stretch just by a little bend in the knee. If you manage to grab the foot, go ahead. 2 more breaths here. Squeeze that right shoulder blade down the back. Soften the shoulder. On your exhale, release. Right hand comes down. And we're going to step back to downward facing dog. Now your option here is to move through a vinyasa, or we'll drop down to dolphin pose. So the forearms come down, elbows under the shoulders. If you're moving through the vinyasa, inhale to your high plank, exhale to lower down, inhaling for a back bend, and exhale back to downward facing dog. Taking 2 more full breaths here. On your next exhale, look forward. Slowly step your feet to the hands at the top of the mat. Halfway lift on your inhale. Exhale to fold. Inhale, rise, reach up, palms press. Exhale, draw the hands into prayer. Bring the hands by the sides. We'll take that side stretch again. Inhale, reach up, right hand onto the left wrist. Another inhale, you lengthen. And the exhale, you fold to your right. Inhale comes back to center, reach the fingertips up. And switch sides. Left hand, right wrist, hinging to your left. Inhale, come back to center. And exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step the right foot back. We're going to take a runner's lunge. So a little bit different to the low lunge. The left foot comes out to the side of the mat and the toes turn out slightly. And your option here is either to keep the back knee lifted or you lower the knee down. You're either on your hands. If you have the space, you might come down onto your forearms. If you have to have a prop, it's quite nice to rest your forearms on the block. And then see which feels best to you, either knee lifted or knee down. Engage the belly, so the belly is not just hanging out. And push into your forearms or your hands to lift into the shoulder girdle. Take 2 more breaths here. Come back up onto your hands if you're not. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and step forward. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale to fold. We'll step the left foot back for that runner's lunge. So bring the right foot out to the edge of the mat slightly. Right toes turn out a little bit. And work with the same variation on this side as you took on the first side. So either the back knee is down or lifted. You're either on your hands or your forearms, maybe using a block. And the front of the body is engaged. And as always, here, we don't want to be rounding. Can you draw the breastbone forward? 2 more breaths. Coming back onto your palms. Tuck the back toes, step the left foot forward, setting up for a squat. So the feet are at the edges of the mat. A few options here. So you may be like this, really want to have the feet flat. If that doesn't work, then come down onto your bum. Keep the knees wide. If you have a prop and you want to sit on that, go ahead, it's all good. Lengthen the spine. We're going to take a gentle twist here. So bring your right arm in front of the right shin and then reach the left hand up towards the ceiling, twisting the left shoulder open. So you can do this seated or in your squat. Strong legs, really push into your feet if you're in that squat. And breathe deeply. Bring the hands back into prayer. And we'll switch sides. So the left arm extends in front of the left shin. If you're in your squat, you can use your fingertips for support and reach the right hand high. Maybe the gaze goes up to that right hand. 2 more breaths. What do you need to do here to feel a little bit more supported? Maybe a little lift of the pelvic floor or push into your feet. Come back to center, hands in prayer. Inhale, create some length. And then exhale, we'll find ourselves in a forward fold. Lift the hips and let the head go. A little sway from side to side. And come back to center. Bring the big toes to touch. Sink the hips down. So always have this little gap between the heels. And lift up into chair pose. Soften the shoulders. So the hips are heavy, rooting down, the feet root down. And you're holding on to that balloon, lifting the chest and the arms. Bring the hands into prayer. We'll take figure 4, right ankle over the left thigh. Lift the chest, sink the hips down. And then option to keep the hands at the heart or bring left hand to the foot, right hand to the thigh. And lengthen the side waist. Keep this left foot flexed. Go ahead if you need to hold on to something, if you feel a bit wobbly, no props. 2 more breaths here. Bring the hands back into prayer. Stand tall, lift the right knee. And we're going to step back, going through warrior 3. So push the palms together, get a little bit extra support. Start to kick the right heel behind you. There's no rush. And then drop the right foot down. Warrior 1, so the right heel comes down, the right toes turn out. Lunging into the front knee. And when you're ready, reach the hands high. Squaring the hips and the arms towards the front of the mat. And feel that both feet are flat on the mat. 1 more breath. On your exhale, reach forward and release the hands down. Step back to down dog. Same options. We either stay in dolphin, down dog, or move through your vinyasa. Your choice. Go with your own breath and your own pace. Couple of breaths here. When you're down dog, really spread the fingers wide. Plug or claw the fingertips into the mat and push the knuckles down. And then draw the weight back into the legs. On your next exhale, look forward and step or hop feet to the hands. Inhaling for a halfway lift. Exhale, you fold. Big toes come to touch. Second round, sink the hips down, chair pose. Legs squeeze together. Lower belly draws in. Keep breathing. And take the hands into prayer in front of the heart. Figure 4 on the second side. The left ankle crosses over. When you're ready, sink the hips down. Keep the hands in prayer or one hand to the foot, one hand to the knee. And you can draw the heart forward. Stick your bum out. 2 more breaths here. Take the hands back into prayer. Stand tall, lift the left knee with you. And then that slow motion through Warrior 3. No rush. When you're ready, you bend in the right knee and you step the left foot back. Warrior 1. Adjust your feet as much as you need to feel a real strong foundation here. Lift the hands high. Just have the awareness in your belly for a moment. So quite tempting just to stick the belly out and the bum out. But try and draw everything in, a little crunch again through the front of the core. On your next exhale, reach forward, release the hands down, and step back to down dog with those same options. Either dropping down to dolphin, taking a break in child's pose, or moving through your own vinyasa. Inhale takes you to a high plank. Exhale, slowly lower down, elbows into the sides. Inhaling for cobra or up dog. Exhale, lifts the hips back and up to downward facing dog. Take a couple more breaths here. On your next exhale, look forward. Step or hop, feet to the hands. Halfway lift, inhale, long spine. Exhale to fold. Bring the big toes to touch. Sink the hips down for chair pose. Lift the chest. On your exhale, we'll take eagle arms, the right arm under the left, either bear hug, hands on the shoulders, or wrap the arms. Lift the elbows, draw the hands away from the face. Feel your left foot on the mat and start to lift the right knee up. And then we'll cross the right thigh over the left. You can use your right toes as a little kickstand if that's better for you, or that foot wraps around the left calf. Drop the hips down. Squeeze the legs together. Lift the chest up. From here, release the hands into prayer in front of the heart. Unravel the right leg. And that same transition through your Warrior 3. But this time we're going to step back to Warrior 2. So the back foot is more parallel to the back of the mat. And we open hips and arms to the long edge of the mat. Yeah. Lunge into that front knee. Take a moment to arrange yourself here. But even out the effort. And always building the pose from the ground so the feet are firm, toes nice and long. Legs are both working, not just the left leg. Shoulders stack over the hips. And you're breathing. Flip the front palm, start to reach up and reverse. Right hand onto the right thigh, or you might take a half bind, wrapping that arm around you. 2 more breaths here. Don't lose the lunge in the front knee. Come back to Warrior 2. Sparkle out through the fingers. And take side angle pose. Forearm onto the thigh. Reach the right hand high. Find that space through the front of the body. And then option to extend the right arm over the right ear. Soften the right shoulder and keep that shoulder open. Don't let that collapse everything down. One more breath. On your exhale, look down, the hands come down. Get back to a three-legged dog, left leg high to the sky, and give it a shake out. Release to down dog. And you have those same options, either rest, down dog or child's pose, come into dolphin, or move through. One breath, one movement. Inhaling to your high plank. Exhale as you lower down. Strong hands as you lower. Inhale for your back bend. Lengthen through the top of the head. Good. Elbows in. Exhale, draws the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Reconnect with your breath. Remember those 3 gratitudes. On your next exhale, look forward. Step or hop feet to hands. Halfway lift. Inhale. Exhale to fold. Let the head hang. Bring the big toes to touch. Sink the hips down. Lift the chest. Chair pose. Setting up for eagle on the second side. Left arm comes under the right. Same variation on this side. Keep things balanced. Lift the elbows. Lift the chest. Take the weight into the right leg and then lift the left knee up and cross the thighs, squeeze the thighs together. Again, sink the hips down, lift the chest up. From here, really connect in with your drishti, that focus point for your eyes. Take the hands back into prayer. Start to lift the left knee up. And that slow-mo transition. Stepping the left foot back, little bend in the front knee, and then dropping the back foot down, opening into warrior 2. And the same as in warrior 1, there's that tendency to pop the belly out, pop the lower ribs out, and the bum sticks out. So just gentle squeeze in of the core. Relax the shoulders. Flip the front palm. Start to reach up. Feel that stretch through the side waist like we did at the beginning of the class, and then take it back for your reverse warrior. Half bind if you did it on the first side. Couple more breaths here. Legs are strong, toes are long, not grabbing on. Flow back to warrior 2. Keep the legs exactly as they are. And find side angle pose. Forearm onto the thigh. Lift the left hand high and open up. Push the back foot into the mat to get that extra bit of length. Maybe you extend the left hand over the left ear. 2 more breaths. Sink down into the right knee. On your exhale, take the gaze down, bring the hands down, step back to your 3-legged dog and shake it out. Release the right foot down. Reconnect to the breath. Find that steady rhythm. And And then your choice, either stay, move into child's pose, or flow through the vinyasa. Inhaling to a high plank. Exhale, push your hands into the mat as you bend your elbows to lower down. Good. Tops of the feet push down, legs are strong for the back bend. Exhale, push back to downward facing dog. Follow the breath. On your next exhale, look forward and step through to seated. Extend your legs forwards. Dandasana, staff pose. The feet are flexed. Hands by your hips. Shoulders are over the hips, so check that. Not leaning forwards or backwards or sideways. And pull the ears back so we're not jutting the chin forward. And then let everything soften. So no like, make it soft. Gaze towards the big toes. We'll take 3 more full breaths here. On your next exhale, keep this long spine and start to fold forward. Creep the fingers forward and listen to the resistance. Pause when you feel like you're starting to round. Pause if there's any discomfort and come back to the breath. Soften the face, the shoulders, the arms. Feel like you're bringing the breastbone forward and tipping the tailbone back. Take 2 more breaths here. Engage the core, gently rise up. And then cross the right shin in front of the left. I'm going to take a back bend. But you can make this as strong as feels good to you. Your hands come behind you. Inhale to lift the chest. And you already get this nice opening through the front of the body and the back bend through the upper back. But if you really want to, you can lift the hips up and push the knees down and take the head up or the gaze up towards the ceiling and get the opening through the front of the hips. Two more breaths here, wherever you are. And then release the bum down. And we'll switch the cross of the legs. If a cross-legged seat doesn't work for you, you can just take whatever seat is good for you and take a gentle back bend. Otherwise, we plant the hands or the fingers. Start to lift the chest, the belly draws in, arching up towards the ceiling. Option to push the knees down and thrust the hips forward. And breathe here. 2 more breaths. And then gently release. Bend the knees and plant the feet. Reach the hands forward And with that same core awareness that you had in Navasana at the beginning of the class, allow yourself to snake down, kind of like a very slow reverse crunch. Come all the way down onto your backs. One hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. Let the whole body release. Remember your gratitudes. And then I'm going to take bridge. So the feet come parallel and hip width. You should just be able to touch your heels with your middle fingers, only just. And when you look down the side of the body, you can just see your heels. Start to push into your hands and your feet to lift the hips up. And then the option is to interlace the fingers behind the back. The arms are straight and strong, pushing into the mat. If the fingers are interlaced, pull your knuckles towards your heels. 3 more breaths here. And when you're ready, release the fingers and lower the spine down. Let everything release again and deepen the breath. No sudden movements. Use the breath to massage out any tension in the lower back. And for the release, we'll bring the soles of the feet together and the knees wide. Supta Baddha Konasana. And bring both hands onto your heart. One palm on top of the other. I am grateful for and release the hands down by the sides. And we're going to very slowly draw the knees back together. No rush. Very slowly. Bring the arms out in a T shape. Bump the hips a little to the left. And drop your knees to the right for a twist. And bring your right hand onto your thigh, maybe onto your belly. Let the head roll to the left if it's comfortable for the neck. And take 3 breaths here. Gently the knees return to center. Draw them in for a moment to realign the spine. Drop the feet down. Bump the hips to the right. And roll the knees to the left. Position the hand wherever it wants to go. Left hand onto the belly or the thigh. Right hand extends. Take 3 breaths here. Knees draw back to center. Bring them into the chest. Squeeze them in. And then we just kind of come back up to seated for a moment. So either roll onto your side or a gentle rock up to a comfortable seat. Hands, palms down, close the eyes. Use a prop if you need to. And just sit for a moment, notice how you're doing now. Feel grounded and balanced through the body. And then notice your breath. We're going to take a few rounds of alternate nostril breathing. So I will talk through the first few rounds. So you can either bring your peace fingers to your third eye, or you fold them into your palm and leave your ring finger and little finger free and your thumb. Left hand stays rested. Hug that elbow in so it doesn't kind of get tired. Take an exhale out through the mouth. And then blocking the right nostril with the thumb. Inhale through the left. Close left, open right, and exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Close. Open left, exhale through the left. So that's one full round. I'll talk you through one more round. Inhaling through the left. Close. Exhale through the right. Open. Inhale through the right. Close. Exhale through the left. So that's one full round. Inhaling left, exhaling right, inhaling right, exhaling left. Continue with your own breath. There's no rush. And if you get a little bit confused, it's not a big deal. So the left hand is just resting on your left thigh, or you can use the hand to support your right elbow. Take another 3 rounds of this breath. And when you finish those rounds, there's no rush. You simply release both palms onto your thighs. Keep the eyes closed. And observe your natural breath now. Observe the breath, and the rhythm, the qualities of the breath. How the actual nostrils and the nasal cavity feel. The whole of the front of the brain. And this is a very simple balancing and focusing breath practice, pranayama, that you can do. Just that short little practice whenever you feel like you need a little dose of that. So from here, gently moving into Shavasana, take time to add any layers or blankets that you want for Shavasana, any props you'd like to use. Come to lie on your backs, with the option always to take your legs up the wall or onto a bed or a sofa if you have something nearby. If you're putting your legs up on the bed or a sofa, just try and hook the knees over so the right angle of the knees is right on the sofa or the bed. And the bum is right up close to the sofa. Make all of your adjustments to be really comfortable, warm, balanced. We'll take 3 clearing breaths now. So the inhale will be deep and full through the nose, and then the exhale long and slow through the mouth. So inhaling through the nose, long throat, slow exhale through the mouth. And do that twice more on your own. You see that exhale as a lovely release. And when you're done, just close the lips gently. Feel the weight of the body. Let all physical effort go. The breath comes back to your natural cycle. Take a couple of minutes to let the mind disconnect. Feel free to remain as you are, and I can disconnect your video when the practice ends. If you want to come out of the practice, start to reconnect with the breath. Gently deepening the breath, allowing the breath to move more deeply into the body. Take some small movements with the fingers and the toes. Gently bring the knees in towards the chest and roll onto one side or the other. And take a moment here to let go of anything that's not going to serve you this evening, maybe for the rest of this festive period. Anything physically, mentally, or emotionally. Keep the eyes closed, come up to a comfortable seat. Bringing the hands into prayer in front of the heart. The thumbs touch into the chest, a little cue to lift the chest and sit tall. Take a moment to feel the benefits of the practice, the physical practice, the breath work, any difference in the mind. And take the thumbs to the third eye. And remember those 3 things that you are grateful for. We'll take an inhale together. And send out that gratitude to the all of those around us. Bow the head to the heart to seal the practice. Namaste. Thank you. And happy Christmas. It really is almost Christmas. And I don't know how to unmute you. Don't know where my unmute button's gone now, sorry.
Thanks, Katie.